This time on Finnegan's Garage, 100% of half the exhaust system for my 61 Caddy is done. Look at that. Entire driver's side, from turbo to tailpipe, fabbed in 1 week. Check this out. So today is fun. We are moving on with the Cadillac. Right now what we're doing is we are finishing the front half of the roll cage. Previous video I showed you how we ran down bars from the outside of the firewall down to the front frame horns. We are now going to connect the inside of the firewall from our roll cage to that front bar that bolts to the firewall. To do that, we're using some 1 5/8" chromoly tubing. This is scrap left over from when we made those bars up front. We had lots of scrap from that project because, you know, not professionals. And it worked out good because this bent tube that didn't work out up front now became the bar we needed. And Joe has cut about a 30-degree angle here where it's going to meet our firewall plate on the inside. And I have fish mount the bottom of it here roughly. It's very close to what it needs to be, but I'm going to give it a little more tweaking with a 4-inch grinder and a flap disc, which works really good at removing material on something like this. And now we mock up again. Hopefully I didn't just bounce sparks. No. Oh. Oh, I bet this is from when the cage got done. Oh. Oh, it's cracked anyway. The windshield's cracked and it's pitted up here in the corner where the roll cage got done. Okay, not gonna worry about that right now. Let's keep going. All right. How is our fit down here?
We're close up here.
Yeah, we have about an equal sized gap all the way around the tube here, which means we're getting very close. It's touching in the bottom. And it looks like I could fish mount the bottom some more and the top just a little bit, and that'll close up my sides. How's your end work?
I think if you do that, the more you do it, the closer we get on this side too.
Okay. Then I will fish mouth a little bit more on the bottom, and that'll get the bottom half of the sides closer. And then at some point I'll have to do just a hair on the top, and that'll close up the top gap a little bit. And then we're there. Oh yeah.
How you looking?
Money. We can weld it right now. Oh yeah. She is happy. We can TIG that right there.
I have about an 1/8 inch gap at the top of mine.
Okay, I can tweak the bottom just a hair more, but it's really close. And this bar...
Where is it? How's it tying into the other bars? Pretty good?
Yeah, it lands right where the door bar and the rocker bar are.
Perfect. Yeah, we just need to massage it a little bit more.
We'll tack for now, but we are going to pull the body off the car one more time to paint the chassis, so this bar won't go in permanently. All right, let's eyeball the exhaust.
Okay.
Okay, it's the next day. I needed some tubing that I didn't have. We're looking for a 3.5-inch stainless steel round tubing to build the side pipes for the Caddy. Didn't have them at the house, had to come to the warehouse, and I figured while we're here, let's take an update on the ATC trailer that I bought a couple months ago, because while I was out of town, Joe moved some cabinets around, installed even more storage than we had before, and I've been hoarding this Miller 220 AC/DC for over 2 years now, waiting for the new trailer to, enter into my life. Now I have a place to actually put this, and this thing's rad because it welds aluminum, steel, it'll run off 115, 240. It's very versatile. It's the perfect thing to go into your race trailer, because if you're at the racetrack, whether somebody blows up an aluminum charge pipe or they break a rear end bracket, you have a machine that'll do it, and it's pretty portable.
Look at all these cabinets.
Oh, it still smells new in here.
It does, huh?
Ah, we have all the storage now. I like the big ones.
Yeah.
Don't make that weird, okay? Just talk about cabinets.
Sure you were.
Yeah, this is great. We just need to make shelving for these. That's the only thing I think ATC probably should update at some point, is you have these monster cabinets, but there's no shelving in it. We have a sheet metal brake. We can do that at home, but I think a shelve midway up, some of these would be dope.
Yeah, it would be great.
And then they're dirty, but Mr. Clean Magic Erasers, take that right off. Mr. Clean Magic Erasers are amazing. That'll wipe right off.
Those are probably due to the frigid and long ride they had home on the back of the ramp truck.
Yeah. Or our grubby handprints. I mean, yeah, like these are my grubby handprints right here.
Yeah.
That's what all these are. And I think the welder could fit in there.
Yeah?
Yeah. We have 2 mini bottles. Like, so this is where the generator is, right? Generator chills there and it slides out when you want to fire it up. I think we could fit the welder in there. Just kidding. Oh yeah.
Plenty of room. That plug down there is a dedicated 20 amp plug also.
Oh really?
But if need be, we have a 30 amp on our generator, which you could run straight to. Such a cute little bottle. Look at that.
You could put a couple up in there. So that's an argon one. We need an argon CO2 mix to MIG weld because this will TIG weld and MIG weld. Aluminum or carbon steel, so. All right, cool. Anyway, there's our new trailer updates. All the cabinets in place. And we moved the sink at some point.
Yeah, we moved the sink over to here.
Which I love. I love the sink.
Yeah, sink's
We ever
great.
showed people how this works?
No.
Check this out. So, water bottle, water receptacle. There's just an electric pump right in here. Turn it on. That's it. And when you need a refill, you just go take this out, put a garden hose in it, dump this somewhere safe, and you got a sink in your trailer. And if you don't like it there, because it's on a track system, you just unbolt it and move it wherever you want. They even make a toilet with like a shower curtain surrounded, but
That's a little extravagant.
I don't know if we're gonna do that. That feels like cheating. I feel like if you're at the racetrack, you should have to go in the woods. All right, let's get steel and we'll get out of here. 3.5, please. Two sticks, one for each side of the car. And then we need to find some transition material because it's a 4-inch coming out of the back of the turbos. There we go. Ooh, no. Dose. Thank you, Stainless Headers Manufacturing, for having all of the tubing whenever we need it. So MRC Fab built the chassis on my Cadillac, and these outriggers are unique because they have 4.5-inch round pipe welded into them so that there's a pass-through for the exhaust pipe. And I feel like it's perfect to put 3.5-inch stainless steel tubing through. And much like the parts I got to build the headers, this tubing came from Stainless Headers Manufacturing. And yeah, this will be nice. Now the turbo outlet, those NRE mirror image turbos, they have a 4-inch outlet. So it'll be 4-inch out of the turbo, neck down to a 3.5 pipe, which probably get a V-band here and then V-band at the back for a side pipe. And I think we'll run the side pipe out similar to Blasphemy. It'll come right out in front of the tire and stick out just a hair so that when you do gnarly burnouts, it blows the smoke out. It looks cool. And if you ever grenade the motor and stuff comes out the tailpipe, liquidy stuff that you don't want, it doesn't go in front of the tire, it goes past the tire. So I've got a bunch of rubber, little pieces of rubber, and we can set it on there, all 4 sides to center it. I think I'll do that next, and then we'll start looking at how to do the pipe out of the turbo. And once I have that pipe routed, then I can go back and go, okay, here's how much room I have left for our wastegate. So I think the next thing will be, I'll space this up. Why don't you throw a front wheel back on, Joe?
Okay.
And then we'll make sure we have it turned all the way to the left and see how much room we have for all this stuff to happen. These are just scrap pieces of rubber, floor mat stuff. It's kind of the kind of thing you'd see in an industrial warehouse people stand on all day long. And I've just held onto it over the years because it makes great stuff for spacing because it's bendable. So like I can put this just like this and let it conform to that tube. And then I can do the same thing up top. And for the most part, it will center this in here.
Perfect.
There we go. Now I'll do the same thing at the back. All right. That's pretty good. You can see it's in there pretty tight. So now we can figure out where our V-band connection is going to go and how we're going to route this from here up to the turbo.
All right, here we have a set of Weld Racing V-Series front runners with a set of Mickey Thompson Sportsman SRs, and these ones are a 28/6/11. I'm going to put these back on so we can make sure we get our mock-up okay, and we clear the tire with the exhaust, and then we'll figure out where the wastegate goes. And these are super light. All right. Good enough for mock-up. Boom.
This could go here. This could go here and then down and back. Our wastegate will come straight out here. The outlet of that could dump into this pipe or could go alongside of it and dump out to the ground.
We're not gonna have any flames coming out?
I don't know. I don't necessarily want to cut holes in the fenders and,
Yeah, I hear you.
and do that. I'd like to run the car with the full exhaust on it. Like I would be willing to cut just this corner of our skirt and tuck this pipe up a little bit and put it, right here in front of the tire and just have it come out like that, shooting fire. I think that looks sick at night.
Yeah.
But I don't want to dump holes out of the fenders. I'm trying to keep it classy,
It's a Cadillac. You got to keep it classy.
It's Cadillac. We've got Turbo Smart wastegates. That could mount right on this Motion Raceworks adapter. And it could go right here pretty good. And then if that goes there, which by the way is really good. It's really good placement because the entire flow of the exhaust coming out of the engine goes right into the wastegate. And they work really well like that. What you don't want with your wastegate is you don't want this plumbed like this. You don't want the exhaust passing the wastegate, and then you're hoping the wastegate will do its job and control the boost. Teeing it in line is okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. Ideally, if you can flow all the exhaust at the wastegate, you'll have much better control and you'll avoid boost creep completely. Like if you have a big enough wastegate, like we'll have a 60mm one on each side of the motor. And that Motion Raceworks piece will make it easy. Ah, spider, die. This Motion Raceworks piece.
They don't eat much.
It'll make it easy to weld on there. It'll be really strong. And then the outlet of the wastegate will be pointed this way, so it could come down and go to the ground or get plumbed back into the exhaust. And I think if that's there, we've cut enough of the firewall out where we can get this through here. In fact, if this was like this, it would be even easier. Like if this did kind of one of these deals and then turned. Yeah. Cutting the firewall was key because this allows us to easily finish this bar for the roll cage and gives us room for this exhaust to turn through here. And it's so far forward that your feet shouldn't be anywhere near it. I mean, it's a freaking Cadillac. There's room in there. That'll be one of the interesting things about the build is once this bar goes in, you're not getting the body back off. So at some point, body's gonna have to come back off, chassis is gonna have to get painted, then body on, roll bar welded in, then the joint along the rocker and the floor, which is separate, that gets plated. Then that's it. The car's never coming off the chassis again. Not easily, anyway. And once that bar's in, then you can go back in and plate all this. Actually, what we could do is we could take that bar we made already. We could weld this side of it and leave that side of it disconnected, because then it would unbolt.
Yeah.
And then if this side's welded, you could finish the firewall. Although right now, it's a lot easier to weld that joint from back here than it is trying to lay in there and try and weld it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
There is that. I am tempted to weld this end of it now so that we have it done. Might do that. So I think since we know we have lots of room here, and this is our close point, I think the next thing we'll do is mount the wastegate. And then once that's here, then we'll build this pipe down. So this will be hole saw right there, and then hand finished, and then get welded on. And these are big tires. These are 28s, which they look right on the Caddy and the fender. I would have preferred a shorter tire, a 27, but until we scale the car at the very end and know what it weighs, this is the size tire that will carry a 4,700 pound car, according to Mickey Thompson. They didn't want me to run a skinnier one, even though I'd like to. My hope is that at the very end, when we scale this, it still won't be 4,700 pounds, and maybe we could put a little shorter tire on it, but I don't think,
yeah,
I don't think
about
she's getting lighter.
I think there's about 1,500 pounds just in the bumper alone.
Yeah. I mean, this chassis, I have a little doubt this chassis, even with the roll cage, is lighter than the stock X frame, because that X in the middle was giant, just plate monster deal. I think the chassis is lighter, but unless we start swapping glass for Lexan and metal for carbon fiber, I don't think this car is going to get real light, which I don't care. We'll make enough power to go 8s. As long as it hooks, it'll go an 8. And then we'll cruise with air conditioning.
Yes. And a cassette deck.
Dude, I never even looked. Does it have a cassette deck in it?
No, but we can put one in it.
Oh, no, it wouldn't. It's a 61. Why would it have a tape deck? It would have an AM radio. Was FM around in 61?
I think so.
I have no idea.
Was it 8-track?
Oh, because 8-track would have been tape records in the 60s, I think. Didn't tapes come out in the 70s?
I don't know.
That's
when
before my
8-tracks came
time.
out.
I don't know. I just know that whenever I encounter a cassette tape, I get all excited. Because I came to like music right around when tapes disappeared and compact disc came out. So like I had the first CD player in my car that ever came out. Like I had a pull-out CD player that broke every other month, and I would return to Sam's Club and get another one because it just kept breaking. It would skip constantly. But my dad, who was born in the 40s, my dad was a gangster. So my dad got a job at Vaughn's grocery store bagging groceries when he was 15, worked his butt off, saved up money, bought a brand new Pontiac Grand Prix, and put a record player in his car.
No way.
Yeah, he had a record player on the passenger side of his car that played 45s and 33s, and he would stack nickels on the arm and tape them to it so that it wouldn't skip. And he used to cruise the boulevard playing, I think his favorite song was Shake a Tail Feather. My dad was just badass, and he loved that car. And
your mom had no chance of getting away from him.
No. My dad, he was like me. He didn't have any riz. He didn't have no game, but he had a cool car, which worked, So, yeah, that thing was sick. I've seen photos of it. It was gone before I ever came along, but he was all about, my dad, audiophile, in terms of his car game. So we'll need a system in this. Even if it slows us down, we'll need a system in this. If you guys missed the last fab video I made about the Cadillac, then you didn't see this. This is called the Versamag. It's from Fein Tools. It's awesome. It's a really, really strong magnetic vise. Like so strong that I'm gonna put my foot up against the side of my welding table down here, and then I'm gonna grab it over here and I'm gonna try to move it. And it will move, but it is really hard. And it has 2 modes. That was 100%. Then this is, I don't know, I think like 40%. 40%, it does move. But as you can see, it sticks, so it's light. And then there's off, which is super easy to move. 30%, sorry, it was 30, not 40. 30, you can tug it and you can move it, but it's not easy. 100%, good freaking luck. Anyway, I'm using it to hold my TurboSmart 60mm wastegate. I've got the V-band on there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack together this Motion Raceworks mount for the wastegate, which is designed, this is a cast stainless steel piece. This is designed to hold the wastegate directly onto a piece of stainless steel exhaust tubing, and basically this fortifies the whole area. You don't have to go and wrap this with another piece of tubing or plate to strengthen it. This is going to do it, and it makes mounting this and welding this much easier. You're not going to burn a bunch of time trying to form or fish mouth a piece of tubing. It's already done for you. So I'm just going to get that right there, put some tacks on it, and go check the fit on our header. Pretty sweet, huh? I'm going to rotate the vise around. And you push this side down. Now, we go put this over there and mark that. So the towel is there to protect the finish on the wastegate. I don't want to scratch it up while we're banging this around and mocking it up. And I just put 2 tacks on there, which is just enough to hold this in place while we go mark our tubing. So that, look at how good that fit is right there.
That's great.
Look at that. And this could go like this, like this. It could go like this if you're psycho. This twists. I think this looks pretty good. What do you think? How's that look? Good amount of room to the tire. We'll point the outlet down.
Yeah, that looks better like that. I was a little worried with the way the nut was for the V-band.
Oh, you can point that the other way too.
Yeah. No, it looks good right there.
But
and then that should leave us plenty of room to get the exhaust down too, it looks like.
Where's that that 190 I had? I think that's the short one maybe. Yeah, this should work. Okay, so we'll mark this, then we'll take the header off. Okay, there goes that. Just punch a hole saw through it to get rid of that, hand finish it, weld the mount on. While we're at it, I would like to redo this tube. In hindsight, it's closer than I wanted it to be there, and if we go up with it more, it will be easier to get the spark plug out. So when we take the header off to do this, we'll weld this, we'll cut this tube here and here, and then we'll make a new piece, new section to go right in there. And then the header will be done.
And then we just got to match the other side.
Ish, because the other side, you know, it's a big block Chevy, so one head is shifted backwards from the other. So the clearance from this port to this port is different on that side. We actually have more room on the other side because this port is further back. So this port gets away from the Heim joint, but this port gets closer to it. So it won't look exactly the same, but we can make it pretty close, I think.
All right, well, we've got our wastegate marked out here. What I'm gonna do is get the largest hole size I can and center it up. I wanna try and leave about as much room as I can on the sides, maybe 3/8 to 1/2 inch on the sides, and then I'll come back in and clean it all out with a bit and get this all nice and neat and ready. So here we go, let's cut some holes. And now I'll come back in here and I'll cut this as close as I can. Try and leave about a 3-inch reveal on the inside of the blue marker. And then we can tack everything back on and see how it goes.
I cannot believe that is going through that. That's
impressive. I was surprised because the hole saw struggled. The hole saw struggled, but I thought, well, I'll give it a shot because that left a lot to have to grind out.
Yeah.
So it's getting there. We'll get close and then I can go mad on the cut up stuff. There we go. Nice opening. We have about 3/8 of an inch all the way around this. Gives us a little lip for the elbow to sit on for the blow-off valve. I wound up cutting it with this guy here once I got the hole saw done, and then cleaned it up with one of these. This bit, little carbide bits work great. Makes quick work of a little bit of stuff, but you know, I had chunks here, so I had to cut the rest of it out. But there she is. Now we're just ready for a blow-off valve.
Oh yeah, she's smooth.
No overlapping edges.
Ah, that looks great, brother. We can weld that joint, and that joint. And we'll bolt that to this. So exhaust port flange bolts to this, which will hold the header up in the air. And then, yep, just like that. And then once that's bolted there, then we bolt this purge block, which I've had for years, street strip concept. That will bolt there, and we can cap off one end. We can hook our quick disconnect here, and then just cap off this port here. Turn the argon on, let it go. This is our wastegate. We have welded the V-band from the wastegate to the mount. The mount is going to go right here. Joe expertly trimmed the port inside of our bend here. This is 3-inch tubing. And so I'm about to tack weld that on here in a couple of places. I'll probably do 4 tacks here. Once it's tacked, I'm going to hook this hose up. This is going to go to a quick disconnect fitting to our stainless header manufacturing purge plate. This is a fixture plate that has ports in it so that not only will bolting the header flange keep the header from moving around while you put heat into it while you're welding it, but through the ports you can flow pure argon on the inside of this stainless steel header. And that'll do a couple of things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to protect the backside of our weld puddle by evacuating all the oxygen out of the header. There won't be any atmospheric air, oxygen, whatever you want to call it, in there, because stainless is a reactive metal, and if you don't get rid of the oxygen, all the impurities in it will get put right into the weld puddle. So the front side of your weld will look great. You know, you've got argon coming out of your torch. The argon's displacing all the oxygen, and that is protecting the weld puddle as it's superheated and you're welding. On the back side, the argon's going to do the same thing, so that once I weld this, if you look on the inside of the inside of the tube will look like the outside of the tube. And I don't care about the aesthetics of that, but what I do care about is if I didn't put argon through this tube and I welded it right here, because it gets hot on the backside, if I don't protect it with argon, you are going to get the impurities pulled into the weld puddle. You're going to get something that's called sugaring. Sugaring is basically just flakes of junk weld that can fall off. In an NA deal, don't care. It's not a big deal. But in something where the exhaust pulses and the flow are going into your turbocharger, that's what's spinning the turbine, you don't want that stuff going through there. And there's a lot of people that will not back purge stainless. And those people are not wrong. You don't have to do it. You really don't. But I have the ability to do it, so I'm going to do it because it makes me feel better. And I feel like I'm being nice to my turbos. They're not cheap. They're expensive. I'm going to be nice to them. So, again, attack that real quick. Then we're going to turn on the argon from this bottle, which is doing nothing more than getting rid of the oxygen inside of everything I'm welding. Then I'm going to weld. Down. Okay, where are the big leaks coming from? Can you tell me where the big leaks are coming from?
This is just filling it.
Sounds like a lot more than usual.
Hold on. Time out. Turn it off. We gotta fix this. It's coming through these bolt holes, the inside bolt holes.
Washers. Oh, these bolt holes.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we put a piece of cardboard between it.
Or these.
Bingo. Okay.
This works well.
We'll be back.
Let's see. We have less leaky. It's gonna leak. We just don't want it to leak that much. Oh, here we go. Part of it was the pressure was turned way too high. There we go. So basically I start around 10, wait about 30 seconds while it fills the thing, and then I turn it down to like 5 so that it's not as turbulent. I don't know if that's, the greatest method. That's just how I do it. Now you can hear it, but it's not just flowing tons of argon through it right now. Now, when we first started this project, the first thing I attempted to tack together were these two pieces. And the fit up was okay, but the welder was cranked up to 200 amps and I didn't realize it. And when I went to tack it, I blew a hole through it. I'm not gonna rebuild this whole thing. I'm just gonna fix that part. Because nobody's perfect, and
It's on the bottom, you'll never see it.
Trying to pretend like that never happened, that's not my style. Fixed. Now we put a bunch of heat on that side, so I'm going to go to somewhere else to weld and not continue welding there. I'm going to go up here to our turbo mount, turn the welder up a bit, grab some thicker rod,
All right, we're back on.
Oh, dude, we can try the wastegate now. Oh, that looks cool. It's right here.
Oh, you got it over there?
Oh, yeah. It's an important safety tip. A lot of people leave this insert out when they're fabricating wastegate mounts and stuff. And then later on, they go and run the car and they forget to put that back in. And then, yeah, you sit around wondering why you don't have boost or why you don't have control of your boost. That's why. And then you go, where did I leave that thing in the shop? I know this from personal experience because I did it on Game Over. And then my friend Brian Macy said, well, when you were fabricating the exhaust, did you bother to put the insert back in the bottom of the wastegate? And I was like, oh yeah, that thing. That thing's kind of important.
I think you missed it.
I missed it. I definitely missed it. It seems like it's kind of partial. There we go. Okay, it's tight enough to be on there, but we can still do that. So now, yeah, so this one can come out like this. Some of you made comments on YouTube about how after I talked about wanting clearance to that rod end, I ended up not having it based on how I designed my header. And you were right. After the fact, I went, you know what? I want more room. So we've cut that primary tube, and thanks to the miracle of mandrel bent Legos, we are going to just cut some new pieces, reorientate them, and get the clearance we want. For instance, that one there can twist like this. If I twist it this way, it shallows it, and we end up right back in the same position we were at, with tubing running across that rod end. But if I tweak it this way a few degrees, now it goes upwards. And then when I connect the next tube to it, we can probably get ourselves at least a ½ inch between that rod end and our header tube, which would be great. Also, it means we can access our spark plug hole right through the control arm mount right there, which would be cool. If I reuse that curved piece that I had before, now look how much higher it is. Oh yeah. So let's cut this one right about where my thumb is. That is much, much happier. There is a solid 3/4 of an inch now between the rod end and that thing.
Oh, nice.
So.
And we can happily get a socket in through here to get to the plug.
Yeah. So what I would do is put some marks on this so you know where it went, and then take everything and flatten on the belt center so it fits good. We can tack these two pieces together and tack that there, and then we can start working on this end. Okay, is it tight like a tiger?
Mm-hmm. Rawr.
Sitting on a metal?
Yes.
Okay, I hate to zap you. I feel bad. Flip to the other side, 180 away. Yeah, push that tight. And grab the rod just in case.
Trying to get my fingers out of your way and hold this together. Go ahead.
Okay, don't shake. Let's see how it fits.
So we got a tiny little gap here, but I think you can fill that.
Yeah, I can make that work. Let's see how it fits. Oh yeah, we got all the clearance.
Looking good?
Yeah, we just need to make a straight piece. Go right in there.
Okay.
Beauty.
Look at, we even got the lines, the
grain all going the same way.
In the right direction too.
Dang.
How you like them apples?
Dude, Nelson's gonna be fired up. Actually, Nelson would do a better job on this, but he won't be disappointed when he sees this. look everybody, we have clearance now. Lots of clearance. There's about an inch between the rod end and that, which is nice. And although I'm not particularly proud of the tube we put in there, you know, the welds are not, I mean, they're sturdy, they just don't look great. I don't know, I was having an off day when I did it. You know, they're not as good as those ones. Those ones I'm really proud of. These ones I'm less proud of, but whatever. Never let perfection get in the way of progress. That's what I say. So now, moving on. Header is officially done. Our NRE turbo came with a V-band and a weld flange, so we've tacked a piece of 4-inch mandrel bent tubing there. From here, we're going to reduce it to 3.5 because we need to get it all the way to the back of the car to exit right before the front tire. And our cross members, these are outriggers here, they have 4-inch pipe welded in them, which is plenty to put a 3.5-inch tube through, but not a V-band. So pretty much we have to know going in that once we put a V-band on here, you're never getting that tube out of the frame again unless you cut it, which is no big deal. When it comes time to paint or powder coat the chassis, whatever we do, we just tape that off and do the job, but whatever. For now, what we're gonna do is build a pipe that goes from here to here. And once we've done that, all we have to do in the back is make the exhaust tip and all the hangers. And then the exhaust will be done. Oh. I wonder what's gonna show up at the door now.
Okay. So you tack that there?
Yeah. What we can do is get a whole nother V-band and bolt it together, hold it there and tack it, and then leave it bolted and clamped together. That way you can weld the and it won't bore up the flange as long as it's bolted together. And then we can just sit here and weld, turn, weld, turn, weld, turn, weld, turn.
Okay.
And then take it back apart. Go ahead and rotate it. I think that'll be good for now.
Okay.
And now we can put our 90 on there.
Okay.
All right, let's make sure we have all the rubber in the back now. Cut up a piece and put in there. Your life might be easier if you take the wastegate off.
Take that off.
And get it out your way. We were close to having this connected to that, but I just didn't like the 90 we had going on. And so I grabbed a 45 tube that hugs this angle of the firewall here, and then it's just gonna have a short 90 down here to connect the two things. And I rather like that. I feel like it looks a little cooler. Grand scheme of things, probably doesn't matter much. But today, right now, I like it better. So that's what I'm going with. And now we need a 90 from here to here.
More.
How's it look?
That looks good.
Yeah?
Probably come out just a little bit. Pull towards you. Just a hair.
Towards
me. Towards you, yes.
I can't pull it. It's welded.
I got you.
I can only do that.
Yeah, that's too far. Go back. Come in. That's good.
Okay.
That looks good.
Dude, that looks beef right there.
That's
Imagine a fender will be right here, right? You might just see this, but you'll definitely see fire shooting out.
I like that.
That's gonna be cool. All right, so now what we can do is pull this back off. I'll weld this all the way around.
Okay.
Put this back in. Then what we should do is pull this pipe off, slide this forward, weld this V-band all the way around permanent like.
Okay.
Slide that back over, then make this one piece. And then this part of it is done. And then we can do this. looking good. I think there's enough room to get a V-band on there.
Oh, less than that. Just enough. Just enough. Perfect.
It'd be nice if it had a little more clearance there, so that if it shakes, it doesn't rattle against it. If we trim the firewall a little more right here, we can shove the pipe over a little bit. Or trim the pinch weld. It would be nice to get it away from it a little bit more. Wastegate dump tube can come out here and follow that. That'll look sick. We're getting there. So right about now, I think Joe wants to strangle me.
No, not really.
I keep changing my mind about the exhaust system. And we've had 3 iterations of this exhaust. First, it was going to come out of the turbo, 4-inch, into 3.5, kick over to the frame rail, go all the way to the back. Then I changed my mind because I didn't like it. And it wasn't going to be good for exhaust flow when we went racing. So then I said, all right, we're going to come down here, all 4-inch, dumping straight out. But right here on the side, we're going to have a V-band that connects to our 3.5-inch exhaust, and then we're going to cap it down here with another V-band that we could remove. But then I didn't like the idea of having to fill this tube with exhaust and have it back up before it goes out the 3.5 and we're cruising down the highway. So then I told him, cut off everything we just did. We're going to cap the end of this. Then we're going to make 2 90s that just goes from here over to our existing 3.5-inch exhaust that's running alongside our frame. And he was like, we're going to have to cut it way back up here to put a 4 to 3-inch transition. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way. And there is. I just realized if I take a 4-inch V-band and just weld a 3.5-inch V-band to the outlet of it and then weld my pipe to that, there's our transition. And it's only this long. And this can probably go, I don't know, right about here. And we do a 90 and a 90. And we have a pipe that's removable for when we want to go racing. And a pipe we can just quickly put in with 2 V-bands when we want to drive down the street and have full exhaust. There's our solution.
I like it.
You love me now?
Huh?
You love me now?
I always love you, Mike.
Okay, good. Keep telling me that, even if it's not true. He cut up the pipe we already welded together.
Don't we put it back together?
No. No, you did great. Let's put that on our 3.5-inch side pipe, and then we'll
work out the 90.
We'll work out this other 90 and this V-band.
Okay.
This is what victory looks like right here. That is our exhaust pipe. 4 inches with our turn that fits down to our frame rail for a 3.5 street exhaust. Oh, dude, this is gonna be cool.
I need the gun.
You need to install it.
I know, but it's wrong location right now.
We have done a lot of cutting, a lot of sanding, a lot of welding this week, and it all culminates with this. We have a completed header, redesigned. We moved that tube, and now we're about to have a completed exhaust, minus the tip. We're saving the tip for later. What do you think, Belle? Belle's afraid.
Tip should be here tomorrow.
Belle's like, you know what? That looks loud. I'm gonna get out of here. I wonder if I'll have to leave that loose in order to get the other part in.
What's that?
I said, I wonder if we'll have to leave that loose to get the other part in. It's such a precision fit for all of it. So the key to this whole thing is a 4-inch V-band welded to a 3.5-inch V-band, so we could put our 3.5-inch pipe, except the 3.5-inch V-band We couldn't weld on the outside of the 4-inch V-band because I had a clamp to it to try to keep it from warping. So we went and welded the inside of the two.
Works great.
Custom. All right, let's do this.
Boom.
Yeah. It's a little close here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
trim that for the
work
V-band.
this, and on the back too, probably.
Back of what?
Against the firewall, it's a little tight.
Let's put a clamp in it. Make it official.
That's what I was trying to do, but it's super tight. I don't know if we can get the clamp on.
Let me loosen up this V-band. We should just death wheel this real quick because it's going to be in the way anyway.
Yeah. Let's go right here.
Yeah, it's actually cut at an angle like this. We should just take this cut and go straight. Sawzall straight up. Oh, this looks good, bro.
Yeah.
Gotta do a little firewall trimming, which is no big deal. We knew we were gonna do that. We already started it. We gotta do a little more. A little more right here. No big deal. This is gonna be sick because you pop that off, take that tube off, and it's a 4-inch dump straight to the ground. Right to Mother Earth's dome. Boom!
Flames from under the Caddy.
Yeah. So tomorrow we just gotta do our wastegate dump, which will look something like that. And
hopefully our exit tip.
if our custom exhaust tip shows up in time, put that on, and then one side of the Caddy is officially done.
Yes.
And then we have a blueprint. A lot of the time spent on this was spent
how we were gonna run it.
Yeah, figuring it and changing it and redoing it, and this is the best incarnation yet.
We've changed this 4 times.
I like this part. We have changed this 4 times. I like this part though.
Yeah. This is our last piece to the puzzle on the driver's side. Wastegate goes on, and we will be complete. Oops. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Boom. Done.
Let's take a break and open some mail. I promise you, we're not gonna do an entire episode about unboxing stuff because I know that just drives everybody insane, but the mail has been piling up. So we're gonna open 3 pieces in 2 minutes for this episode of Finnegan Scratch. And this is from Smith, no first name. Anchorage, Alaska though, that's pretty sick. Finn, been watching forever, love your stuff on Roadkill with Fabricating. Pretty cool seeing you and David out there having fun. I promise I didn't send you a fruitcake. Seeing how much fun you have working on the jet boat, figured you'd enjoy these cool vintage photos more than I would. They've been hanging in my closet for some time, and I just couldn't find a place to display them. Merry Christmas, Cato. P.S. My good friend Hans loved Game Over, and a black or gray hat would be pretty cool. I'll give it to him for the holidays. A little bit behind, obviously, because the holidays are over. Oh, dude, these are cassettes.
What?
These are cassette tapes, bro. Deep Purple. All right, dude.
I can get down with some Deep Purple.
Milli Vanilli.
You can keep that one.
Oh, come on. Don't act like you don't celebrate both Milli and Vanilli. Darby Jones? No idea who that is. You know what this means? We don't currently have a vehicle with a tape deck, which means we need to buy another car. New edition. Whoa. Bobby Brown before he went solo. Jermaine Stewart. No idea who that is. Babyface. We have an R&B fan in here. Whoever sent these. Cato. Rod Stewart. REM. Dude, these are great. Thank you. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to either put a tape deck in something because I have a wall full of tapes in the bathroom, or we're gonna have to buy another car, which would make my wife would be so excited. Oh, that's not a drag boat. That's an unlimited hydroplane. Look at that.
Oh, that's badass.
Wow. That's a great photo. U12. I don't know who that is, but
It's a Budweiser boat, isn't it?
looks like it.
Yeah.
I don't know who drove the Budweiser boat, but I remember
There was a lot of drivers back then.
I remember going to San Diego and going to Bayfair and watching the unlimited hydroplanes go round and round in circles and occasionally do backflips when it all goes wrong. Oh, here's a close-up. Oh, all right. It is the Budweiser boat, and that is Bernie Little. And I don't know Bernie personally. I just remember hearing his name over the PAs when I'd go watch the unlimited
That's an old
hydroplanes
one,
go.
though, too.
That is cool. Yeah, that looks like
Not even capsule.
80s, early 80s. Dude. Badass. Cato, thank you very much. And because I have your address, I don't have your shirt size, so I'll send you an FSM hat. Thank you. All right, next up. It says I'm not a fruitcake or a 10mm socket. I'll be the judge of that. This is nice penmanship. Somebody's wife, girlfriend, or mother signed this. Hey, Finnegan, we decided to send you some other useless stuff you didn't know you needed. The beer glass is an FSM original. Wow, did I get a drinking receptacle? Did I get a liquid transport device? I sure did. In dog beers, I've only had one. Dude, that's awesome. I got a artificially flavored candy shot glass. 'Tis the season, I'll be trying that. And National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation candy. Wishing you the happiest Christmas. Dude, we kind of got to try that. Let's see. My husband has most of your shirts, but always room for another. Tim Stat of Hogansville, Georgia. Oh, local. Sweet. All right, Tim, thank you very much. I will send you something, I promise. This requires the spectacles. Christy and Cherie Gibbons of Wetumpka, Alabama. I believe that's what that is. Cute little dogs on there. And this one is Christmas themed. We're in January. I'm a little behind. My apologies. Aw, little puppies. Happy holidays. Enjoy all the special moments of the holidays. Merry Christmas. Something and Ken something. Merry Christmas, your fan Cherie. Happy New Year. This other one I can't recognize the name. But I do have an address, which means I can give you guys FSM gear. Thanks again. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. More work on the Cadillac. This is so exciting. Got our 3.5-inch stainless steel pipe going through our chassis all the way to the back, stopping just short of the tire, where it will terminate at this oval tip that we're going to recess up here into the rocker panel. This is the pinch weld. This is where the inner rocker and the outer rocker are bent and welded together. They're just spot welded here. What we're gonna do is take this tip, and we want the back edge of the tip to line up with the front edge of our wheel opening. And so we're just gonna use this to trace. And we're going to cut about 2 inches of the pinch weld area of our rocker panel, so that our tip can come out here and get raised up a little higher. And then all we're gonna do is cut this pipe back a little bit and put a 90 from here to here. Done. It's gonna be perfect. I'm so excited. And maybe one day we'll go back and church this up a little bit. It's nothing more than 3.5 inch tube that's been squished in a press, and it's not exactly the same radius on both ends, so it needs a little bit of work, and I'd like to put a little detail on the end of it. I might just take the TIG welder and put some dimes on the end of this thing, make it look nicer after it gets straightened out.
You like it?
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think right about here.
Yeah. You right even with the outside line?
That way if the motor ever gets popped, you know, you blow a head gasket or whatever, if water comes out of the tailpipe, it can come out past the tire, not
into the tire.
Not into the tire.
That's that right there.
That's pretty good.
Hold that in place.
A little rubber isolator into there. Forward. Put my cardboard spacer in here. This is us finishing the exhaust.
What's that?
I said this is us finishing the exhaust just in time for my wife to stomp down the floor and the stairs in her high heels. Want to be on a video?
I do not.
You are now.
Do you want pizza?
Sure. This is it's official right now. This is the end of one side of the exhaust. Yep, I am all the way up. Go for it. Oh, your butt's in the video.
Okay.
That came out pretty good, dude. It really did. The tip is not exactly a perfect
shape,
oval, rectangle, whatever you want to call it, but it's tucked up. The thing I like about it is that's still 3.5 inches.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost even with the bottom of the rocker, so I don't think we're gonna squash it. Let's put the car on the ground.
All right.
Oh man, this is exciting. If I remember right, I think we had to put wood under the front tires to get the jack out.
Yeah.
Maybe. Dude, this thing looks mean. Looks so mean. Air jacks, like an F1 car for this thing.
Yes. Great idea.
The added weight will be worth it, not having to carry a floor jack. And wood.
Yes. And not just a floor jack. It's the lumberyard we have to bring with us.
Yeah. Even if we have to carry a floor jack, but no lumber yard to get the car off the ground. Oh, it looks so good.
God, this thing is so low to the ground.
Dude, that exhaust tip, nowhere near the ground. It came out perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
We're a little high in front because we're sitting on 2x4.
You're right. Let's shove it backwards. Let's get the full Monty and then let's turn it lock to lock so we see what kind of clearance we have. We might have to rotate the wastegate a little bit. Maybe.
Told you, tires are only flat on one side.
Okay, so this is ride height. They're real close to it. Can you give me a left-hand turn there, Broham? Right.
Full lock.
Yeah, it's touching.
Touching?
It's hitting the wastegate.
Oh.
That's right. Just loosen the V-band and rotate it. We'll have to redo the
I
charge.
think it is a little bit loose.
We'll have to redo the outlet pipe.
It's locked.
That's full lock. Wow. It's got about 1/4 inch. We cut it close, but it does fit. Oh, well, maybe not.
Touches.
Damn. You know what that means?
Smaller tires.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say we got to cut the wastegate mount off and move it, but you're
Ooh.
right. I wanted smaller tires anyway. So 1 inch smaller tire solves all that problem.
Yep.
Perfect. There you have it, everybody. It just barely clears, and that's with the monster truck tires on the front. When we go to the smaller front ones, it'll be perfect. Yes! Now only one more entire side to go. We still got to do this
All
whole
the
side.
R&D side's been done.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is now we know what we're doing. Well, I mean, that's debatable. We know how we want to do it again.
debatable.
Yeah, we know how we want to do it on the other side, so it'll go faster.